think through all aspects of what should the criteria be to ensure that you've got strong alignment between your brand's values, your identity, and the celebrity's public image and their audience. Consumers are going to respond more positively when a celebrity endorser shares authentically similarities with the brand in terms of values and personality and aesthetics.
Hello, and welcome to The Marketing Architects, a research-first podcast dedicated to answering your toughest marketing questions. I'm Elena Hingle. I run the marketing team here at Marketing Architects, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Angela Voss, the CEO of Marketing Architects, and Rob DeMars, the Chief Product Architect of Misfits and Machines.
Yay!
Hello.
We're all here. Welcome.
We're back with our thoughts on some recent marketing news, always trying to root our opinions in data, research, and what drives business results. Today, we're talking about celebrities and advertising. Why do companies pay millions for celebrities to endorse their products? Why are we so captivated by celebrities, and does their star power really translate into effective advertising? We'll cover this and more today, but first, let's set the stage. I found a helpful article from Aaron Gooden from AdLift, and it's called The Power of Celebrity Endorsement, Understanding Its Impact on Brands. And it did a good job explaining the state of celebrity endorsements today because, as we all know, the concept has been around for decades, and brands pay a lot of money to leverage a celebrity's fame, popularity, and image to inspire their customers to purchase their product or service. Research has shown consumers are more likely to trust celebrities. When a celebrity endorses a product, it creates a perception that the product or service is high quality. Now, according to Gooden, there are different kinds of celebrity endorsements. Explicit endorsements involve a celebrity actively promoting a product or service, like Tom Brady and BetMGM. Implicit endorsements are when a celebrity uses a brand's product or service without actively promoting it, like Beyoncé's use of Uber. And unintentional endorsements happen when a celebrity is associated with a product or service without their knowledge or approval, like when LeBron was an official endorser of Samsung, but was seen using an iPhone in public. And we're going to discuss the effectiveness of celebrities in advertising, but first, I thought this was a perfect opportunity for a little Rob history lesson. So Rob, what can you tell us about the history of celebrities in advertising?
This is actually super interesting. So when people think about celebrity endorsers, they often think about sports, and that's for good reason. The first celebrity endorsers were athletes, and I want you guys to see if you can guess what sport they played.
Basketball.
Yeah, that would have been my guess too.
Really close. It was the gladiatorial games made popular by the Romans.
Yeah,
back
that was my
in the
second
18th century.
idea.
That's your second guess?
Yeah.
And the gladiators promoted, surprise, surprise, alcohol. So not much has really changed. So then in the late 1800s, trading cards were actually used with celebrities on the cards featuring product descriptions, and they were very popular. People were trading those. But the modern day example that we have of a paid endorsement is Babe Ruth, which was back in the 1930s. And he was promoting Red Rock Cola, which was clearly a great investment given how much Red Rock Cola we all drink today. By the mid-1940s, the trend shifted to movie stars. This coincided with the rise of TV advertising. So there was more of a storytelling approach that was taken to celebrity endorsements, kind of bringing them beyond just being a face on a poster. And then it was the 1980s where it became the era of the super endorsements, where celebrities were signing multi-million-dollar deals and literally not just being endorsers of the brand, but almost becoming indistinguishable from the brand. And the most famous example, of course, is Michael Jordan and the launch of the Air Jordan, a relationship that literally made Michael Jordan a billionaire. And today, celebrity endorsements have taken an unforeseen twist with the rise of the social influencers who are celebrities because they endorse things and vice versa, which is really confusing and probably the topic of a future podcast.
I'm sure this is tracked, but it just felt this year like there were way more celebrity involvement in the Super Bowl spots. Did you guys feel that? Like, it just felt like there was a ton of them.
I feel like there's always celebrities in the Super Bowl, but this was the first year where they actually felt good. Like the celebrity use felt authentic and not forced or obnoxious. So I just think it was good all around uses of celebrities. But I personally, I feel like every Super Bowl is just like table stakes that you have to have a famous face.
I was going to say now, I think it's becoming more of just a given if you're in the Super Bowl. Like, what celebrity are you gonna pick? So thank you, Rob. Very nice history lesson. Now, I wanted to get into some research about the effectiveness of celebrities. I found a great article from Knowledge at Wharton, which is a business journal from the Wharton School. This was written by Angie Bassini. The article opens with this: companies pay millions for celebrity endorsements because they work, but they have always been a bit of a marketing mystery. Why are consumers so captivated by celebrities? Doesn't their star power eclipse the very product they have been hired to sell? Wharton experts settled those questions in a new study that finds celebrities positively impact consumer choices. But the reasons aren't so much about fame, they're more about neuroscience, psychology, and evolution. So let's talk about that study. It resulted in a paper called How Celebrity Status and Gaze Direction in Ads Drive Visual Attention to Shape Consumer Decisions. It was authored by Elizabeth Johnson, Michael Platt, Simone DeBrogio, and Noah Worksman. The researchers recruited dozens of participants to look at mock advertisements of snack foods with either celebrities or non-celebrities, gazing at either the food or the viewer. And they then tracked eye movements and pupil dilation, and then used computational modeling to understand how gaze cueing and celebrity endorsement affect product preference decisions. So what did they find? Well, first, people are more likely to choose products that are endorsed by a celebrity, and they make that choice faster. Second, gaze cueing is stronger in non-celebrities, so when a non-celebrity looks at a product, viewers more often follow their gaze and linger on the item. When there's a celebrity in the ad, they're more likely to focus on the famous person. A key takeaway from this study is celebrity endorsements do work, but it also proves the vampire effect, which posits that celebrities can overshadow and steal consumer attention away from the brand. But even if a celebrity steals some attention, they still tend to build consumer confidence. So why does celebrity work? Their effectiveness is rooted in evolution and biology. We follow the lead of high-status, high-prestige individuals in our groups by aligning ourselves with their gaze or copying their decisions. Monkeys turn to look at whatever a higher-status monkey is looking at in a tree, and we tend to model our work after top-rated employees at our companies. When our leader is successful, we require less evidence to make the same choice as them. Now, one final, really interesting thing from this study: younger consumers actually had more gaze cueing in non-celebrity ads, and they rated non-celebrities as slightly more attractive than the stars. This might provide some evidence that Gen Z has less faith and more suspicion of celebrities, and we might expect a trend towards more normal people endorsing products and services in the future. And I think the rise of influencers is pretty strong evidence of that trend. So, in conclusion, celebrities are effective in advertising. However, we know they aren't always the correct choice for brands. So, Ange, what are some reasons why a brand might not want to or need to invest in a celebrity?
I mean, I think you hit a lot of them right in the research there, but the whole idea of using a celebrity is you're sort of trying to borrow like a favorable association, right? And borrowing anything when you're a brand is a bit of a risky move, right? We really want to try to own any favorable association. That said, of course, it can be effective, but I do think cost is a big reason, a significant consideration, right? Celebrity endorsements typically come with a high price tag, not just in terms of the initial outlay, but also the associated costs of marketing campaigns featuring them. If you're going to acquire a celebrity so that you can use them, you want to use it across as much as you possibly can. So it can be expensive. And I think we've seen examples in not just our own history, but just in the industry in general, in terms of a brand wanting to leverage a celebrity, but maybe that price tag is just a bit too hard to swallow. And so we end up with not a great celebrity. And then are you kind of working against yourself because maybe they don't have as broad appeal or they don't align with the brand's core values, that type of thing. So that can get a little tricky just in terms of cost and ensuring that there's ROI there. I think you hit on the vampire effect, right? Where you've got a celebrity overshadowing a brand. And then I think the last most obvious, we don't probably want to go into a ton of it today, but we've seen bad examples where this hasn't played out well for brands. Everything from Bud Light to, I mean, this goes back to the 80s. Madonna was a celebrity endorser for Pepsi, and they ended up dropping her back in the 80s due to some religious controversy. So the risk of that negative publicity is definitely heightened with a celebrity endorsement. If a celebrity gets kind of caught up in controversy, it can have far-reaching impacts, right, on your brand. And then you're stuck with a situation where
you're firing your CMO.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely resonate with that idea of the vampire effect, and not just to pair what you were saying, not just sucking the attention, but also celebrities sucking the life out of your budget. And how do you evaluate that cost benefit ratio and do some value shopping? And you can hire consultants that can really help you with that, where you go, okay, what is someone's potential Q score versus who's not being used right now, who actually would be perfect? And that's easy. It's more work than just simply writing out a check. It takes some strategic thinking and looking at the landscape, but there are folks that can help with that.
So, Ange, you kind of mentioned two different challenges. One could be if you don't have the budget, you end up having to go with a celebrity that might not have been your first choice. Like maybe you're not getting as much out of it as you'd hoped. But then if you have a huge budget and you go with a big celebrity, now they're sponsoring so many brands. I think actually Travis Kelce is an example of a couple different things in this. I've noticed he's in so many commercials lately. I could not tell you what brand he represents. I think State Farm the most for him, but he's also like the Pfizer man. He's been in some like E-Trade. I don't even remember. He's been in so many ads that he must cost a lot of money. And I don't necessarily associate him with any one brand. So whenever you're using Travis Kelce, you're probably building the brand of whoever he's most known for. And now he has a reputation problem. So that's the second issue after the Super Bowl. So you're right. You're kind of at the whim of how people might feel about a certain celebrity. I was also going to add that I just finished the Building Distinctive Brand Assets book by Jenny Romanuk, I think is how you say her name. And she mentioned that character has been found to be even more effective for brand building than celebrity in some cases. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that just seems like a no-brainer. Like that's ownable forever. You can control a character. You can manipulate what they do. And man, that just seems like a much safer bet. I know it doesn't come with the same credibility. It lacks some things, but that seems to be a much safer and cheaper choice.
Yeah, I think it's a longer game to play, right? Which, if done well, I think is going to pay off really well. It's not the quick win. As soon as you develop that character, of course, you need to put a lot of weight and awareness behind that character to get those favorable associations. But again, you're not borrowing them from a celebrity who's going to have the same celebrity forever, right? So at some point, that's going to come to a close.
If I'm a brand or a marketer, I'm like, I don't care about the risk. I want to hire a celebrity. What should I keep in mind to make sure that it's a successful and effective partnership?
Rob, I'm sure you've got some thoughts on this too, but I think about what we talk about related to trying to determine what creative message you put into market and how emotional of a decision that can be when you especially when you're talking about television. So you've got so many stakeholders in it, and that's just one message. If you take that up to who's going to be our celebrity, we have a lot of opinions as marketers for our own brand about who we think that should be. And I think this is a prime example where we really need to do some pre-testing, or like Rob had talked about, leveraging a consultant to really help you think through all aspects of what should the criteria be to ensure that you've got strong alignment between your brand's values, your identity, and the celebrity's public image and their audience. Consumers are going to respond more positively when a celebrity endorser shares authentically similarities with the brand in terms of values and personality and aesthetics and things like that. So from a risk management standpoint, brands should be, due diligence before entering into a partnership, and even consider implementing moral clauses into endorsement contracts that would allow you an exit strategy should the celebrity's behavior or public image change in a way that could potentially harm your brand. And I think, too, consider how this celebrity partnership can evolve over time. We want this to be successful. So if we're going into it thinking a bit of a one-off campaign, that's probably not the best way to go. So those are some of the things that come to mind for me. Rob, what about you?
Yeah, I think to echo that, are you trend jacking or are you truly building a long-term relationship? And I just talked about Taylor Swift's boyfriend. He's so saturated right now that you don't even know what product he's being used on. Now, obviously, he's trendy right now, but are you authentically making a connection between the celebrity's values and your brand values? Also, just to reiterate what Ange was saying, every celebrity has a closet just know what's inside of it. There's something in there, and it may not be that bad, but there's something there. That's why they're a celebrity. There's a lot written about them. There's corridors that you may just want to go down to make sure you know what you're dealing with. And then I guess the other thing, I'm really into this value play, like in terms of where can you find the greatest value for the celebrity to use? And I'm going to use a quick example. Dean Winters. You guys probably don't know who Dean Winters is, okay?
No.
Dean Winters is a fantastic character actor. He's been on HBO series like Oz, Law and Order. You have no idea who I'm talking about. But if I said he's Mayhem from Allstate, you're like, oh, absolutely, Dean Witt. Yeah, oh yeah, for sure, I know that guy. I mean, what a great value they were able to tap into with a face that's recognizable, that they could build a long-term relationship with. His humor's great. It fits the style of the brand. I think that's a great use of a celebrity that you don't normally go, well, he's a total celebrity. Well, he actually is, but man, are they getting good value. And he's gotten a good value out of it as an actor.
That's such a great point about Mayhem too, because Mayhem's a character now. So even if something happened to him, you could bring somebody else on, like, because you're not having him be himself, right? You're having him be a character. It's kind of a combo.
I think lastly too, it's what are we trying to solve with a celebrity? Of course, we're all trying to grow our brands, but establishing clear objectives and how do we know whether or not this is helping, hurting, or indifferent for us? So whether we're going to measure brand awareness or engagement rates or sales growth or like any other relevant KPIs, tracking those metrics to just help us understand that partnership impact is super important as well.
And one thing you mentioned is trying to make sure that it's a solid partnership and that they believe in the brand. And that reminded me of when we had Colin Fleming on and he talked about how Matthew McConaughey, he has a role at Salesforce, right? I know that some celebrities now, they're not only becoming an endorser, but they're getting involved in the company. And I think that can come off as more authentic too. And that requires making sure this is someone you'd really want to work with. Like, Rob, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you've told me some stories about celebrities and meeting them for TV commercials and just the wide range of personality and the nightmare that some people can be. So if you're vetting them not only as someone in your commercials, but also as someone who you might work with at the company, that might help you make sure that you choose someone that you like working with as well.
There's truth to both sides of it, where sometimes the person that you meet is truly the person you've seen on interviews, and there are other times where they are not. And so just be prepared for that.
Well, before we wrap up, I have a special segment. I would like to host the first ever Marketing Architects Podcast Celebrity Endorsement Fantasy Draft. And so my plan is I want us to go one by one. I'm sure this is going to go really well, and select a celebrity that we'd each like to have for the ultimate advertising campaign. And if someone picks your celebrity, you have to pick a different one. And we all get a total of 3. Then we'll kind of see like who has the best mix. So we'll go Ange, Rob, and then me. So Ange, who is celebrity number 1?
I spent way more time than I should have. Like, this just got so fun. I was just like thinking through all aspects. And one of the things that I was challenged by, and so I'm so curious to hear your guys' draft picks, was we're B2B, right? So we're trying to market to brands that want or need to be in television, both B2C and B2B marketers. But I was thinking a lot about the breadth of decision makers for a B2B decision and how we work with everyone from the CEO down to a manager on the marketing team, something like that, and how all those people matter in that decision. So it's an awesome challenge to who could be appealing to a broad group like that. So we've already mentioned my first pick. I'm going to go with Michael Jordan. I think he embodies excellence. He really transformed the sport through his unparalleled skill and his competitive spirit. And I think he embodies a lot for the sport of basketball that we do for television, just in terms of how he really transformed the sport and just took it to a whole new level. So that's my number 1.
He's versatile too. I mean, he did everything from shoes to underwear. So, I mean, the guy is...
Why not TV?
He can do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Okay, so like Ange, this was way too much fun. So I took a value approach. I'm continuing my theme here. I looked at this from a financial standpoint. And so I have one pick that's kind of like a mutual fund, very safe, but you can bet the farm. The second one being a growth stock. So someone who is on the rise and is really going to be something here soon. And then a total value play, just total high risk, high reward value play. So my first one is my mutual fund, and that is Mr. Keanu Reeves. I feel like Keanu is someone you can always bank on. He has a sterling reputation personally. He's known for that. He's also just cool. I mean, he's just freaking cool. He's also really funny. So I think he can be matched with a lot of different brands. So pick number one, Keanu Reeves.
So I struggled with this a little bit because we are B2B, but B2B is all about reach. So Rob, I did something similar to you where I tried to pick someone in each category. And I had some backups just in case you stole mine. So my first one, I'm just going for reach. We know reach matters. So I picked Taylor Swift. I had to. I'm a Swiftie.
I mean, how could we not at this moment? Someone was going to pick her.
Yeah, I was going to be so upset if one of you stole her from me. I know a lot of NFL viewers are a little sick of her right now, but that's going to fade. She's going to be around for years, and she doesn't endorse many brands.
I love that we all had like kind of a safe one, kind of a crazy one. So this one feels like it could be a little more niche. I thought long and hard about this one, but I ultimately had to include him. And that's Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn. I really feel like he revolutionized the professional, networking space and helps brands drive transformational growth. And I mean, he's humble, strategic innovation. I think he could be really good for us. Certainly speaks to the CEOs and CMOs without question. So
I already screwed this up because I didn't realize this was a celebrity for marketing architects. I just thought this was if we could have celebrities that were, who we'd bet on. So I don't know if this next person's quite right for marketing architects, but Keanu Reeves is though. So I think we're good on there. But my second pick, this is my growth stock, and I'm going to not say her name well, but her name is Ayo Adibri. I think I did that right, but I know, and the name's hard, but she is the person. She just won the Golden Globe for Best Performance on a TV series. She won an Emmy for the same role. She's in The Bear, and she is a fantastic actress. She's hilarious. She's known as being a great stand-up comic. She's done series, and she is on the rise right now. I'm sorry if I butchered her name, but she is absolutely on the rise, and I think you're going to be seeing her more and more over the next several years doing endorsements. So she's my growth stock pick.
That's great. Get a rising star. Get in early. So it's funny, Andrew, we were thinking similarly. My number two, I tried to pick someone who is more business focused, could appeal to marketers. So my second pick is Tim Ferriss.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He actually has mentioned marketing architects in his first book, by the way. He once worked with us back in the radio days a bit, or talked to us or something. So Tim Ferriss, likable, reaches a wide, business audience. And I'm sure it'd be very expensive to actually pay to be promoted on his show.
I know. That's why I asked. We didn't have a budget for this. I'd go for the gold.
Wow.
All right, Ange, last one.
Okay, last one. There weren't a lot of rules, if any, given to this theoretical fantasy draft. And so my third is out
me?
in
Rob
in
DeMars?
left field. No, it's not Snoop Rob. It is someone who absolutely embodies disruptive innovation. He's also not here anymore. And so I am leveraging AI to make Mr. Walt Disney.
Wow. That's creepy.
Well, technically his frozen body is somewhere, isn't it?
His severed head is in a
it's his
freezer
head.
somewhere.
Come on.
Or whatever.
He's like, he embodies contrarianism, and like, it's so perfect.
All right, we're bringing someone back to life. He might be back. He might be back soon anyways, so.
Because I'm an idiot and I didn't realize this was a person for marketing. My last pick is even that much more impressive. Now we're in value play, all right? Now this person was an Oscar nominated he's been an Oscar award-winning films. He was the highest paid person in television, all right? Mr. Charlie Sheen.
Didn't we talk about risk management?
But Charlie Sheen, you know what's in his closet, and he is coming back. If you see what's going on with it, he's kind of on this tour right now. He's going to be what John Travolta was right before Pulp Fiction, where he was kind of a has-been. He's going to be in something. He's good. So he's a value play. There's some risk in here, but I actually think he's going to have another career. And so that's why I picked Charlie.
So for my last one, I wanted to, again, trying to go for reach with all of these. And I want to get someone who's more on the sports side of things to kind of get that chunk of viewers. So I'm going with The Rock. Well-liked, very famous. He gets more of like the athlete. A lot of like top business executives are athletes. So yeah, The Rock is my final pick. I can't believe none of you stole my picks.
I know. I was worried about it too. I brought multiple backups.
I had Urkel lined up just in case.
Now we have our celebrity teams. We've covered all things celebrity endorsements. Definitely effective, but pros and cons to using them. And if you're a brand considering investing in a celebrity, definitely a lot to consider. So hopefully this podcast has been somewhat helpful. That's it for this episode of The Marketing Architects. We'd like to thank Ayana Klafhockey for producing the show and Taylor De Los Reyes for editing. You can connect with us on LinkedIn, and if you find the show valuable, please leave us a rating and review. And if you'd like to hear more from us, subscribe to our weekly email newsletter. It's built for marketers seeking research-first analysis of the latest trends. You can go to marketingarchitects.com/newsletter to subscribe. Now go forth and build great marketing.
It was so fun. I mean, now
It's fun.
It has me considering a celebrity endorser. No, I'm kidding. But
No, Ange, open up that marketing budget and maybe I can go reach out to Taylor Swift.